when I was 16, I wound up doing this movie that won Sundance called Mean Creek. And that was like my first taste into like real dramatic acting.
Yeah.
So it was like great because I still had the delusion at like 19 years old of anyone with a dream. But I'm like, I did that dream, which was to like do the show that I grew up, the kind of show I grew up watching. But now there's the new dream. And in the midst of all this, I fall into like total clichédom and start becoming like just a cliche child actor running around Hollywood, you know, just looking for father figures. And,
Are you drinking and doing a lot of drugs?
Yeah.
Great. Cocaine?
All the things.
Great.
I recently said to Miss Pat I was on everything but skates. And she said, damn, I had my kids watching The White Crackhead.
That's funny.
She put it perfectly. But I got sober at 21.
What was the bottom?
I don't know. I don't tell
or
the
just
story.
like an era.
No, I will. I don't know if it's interesting or not, but it's because it's corny and show busy. But who else am I going to tell but you?
Mr. Corny Showbiz. Go ahead.
Not you.
Yeah.
Not you. No, because I want to get vulnerable. I want to get real. It's blocks, baby.
He's a fan of the podcast.
I'm a
he's
big
really
fan.
bringing it. He knows what works. He knows what makes a good episode, and he's about to show us.
Well, I don't know about that. It's all downhill now. It won't be a Sal Volcano two-parter. Shout out Sal. Okay, so I've had now some near misses as we do in our career when using, right? Like just like moments where it could have gone bad and it didn't, right? But I'm quickly realizing that like this isn't working for me, and I have this evidence.
What does that mean? Like you're drunk, you're hungover for an audition.
Yes,
you go to an audition on a little something.
I'm just like I'm becoming unreliable.
Yep,
and it's starting to get around.
Yeah,
like, and just moments where you just feel like your ancestors are ashamed,
Yeah, which is hard to have a Jewish ancestor feel ashamed. Go ahead.
Deeply.
Very hard. They have a high tolerance for behavior.
Mordecai?
Forget it.
And so there are these moments, but I also have this evidence, right, of like of 8 years of being overweight before that. So constantly in my head, I'm going like, you fucking overdo it, Josh. You overdo. And I'll never forget that we're at Sundance for the Whackness, standing ovation. A week before that, Brad Renfro, great actor, young actor, had overdosed.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know him. I was just a massive fan.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting, being interviewed by Peter Travers, me and another actor in the movie.
There used to be a magazine called Rolling Stone, and he was a
Back
journalist.
in the day.
Yeah.
And he's interviewing us, and one of the producers cuts the interview and goes, "I'm sorry, I just want to pause for a second, but Heath Ledger just died." And this just like shock went across the room because he was so beloved.
Yeah.
Right. And so it was Heath Ledger and Brad Renfro in the same month. And I didn't know either of them. I was just a massive fan. I adored them. To see them sort of succumb to this thing, and then also to have this thing that I dreamt about, to like have this movie and it win, and the reviews are spectacular. And I'm not just.
And that movie's just like you. Funnily enough, it's you walking around New York.
Yeah.
It's like pretty. Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe I just won't be like the silly kid actor. Maybe I will grow into like a real actor. It seems to be happening. And I just woke up the next morning and went, oh no, I'm still here. Like Josh was still here. Like everything on the outside was pretty much dialed. But in here it was like, no.
And who was inside?
The same guy that had told me I wasn't enough since I was old enough to have memories.
Great.
Love him. You know that guy?
Yeah. No, has been around. I've started saying, I was saying to somebody, I have a bad newscaster in my head. He's just reading me fake news.
Sure.
And someone said you have Alex Jones in your head. So it's a really good hack.
It's entertaining.
If you're like just telling yourself a story and then you hear it as Alex Jones, it becomes entirely absurd.
Yes.
Like, people don't respect you. And just like, he's got a great voice.
What is the people don't respect you? Because I have that. And
what is it? I just think
there's
a type of therapy called parts therapy that my girlfriend is a practitioner of, where you like, basically, if there's a voice you identify all the parts of all the different characters in your head, kind of like Inside Out or whatever. And you just ask them what they want.
Yeah.
And what that, like, people don't respect you thing is like, that person wants me to feel bad because it's predictable for that person.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, and then you just kind of have to, I just tried to out-achieve it. So it was like, you're stupid. You're just wrong. At worst, people are just not paying attention, but I don't think they're not actively not respecting me.
Right.
Yeah. So then did you blame it on drugs and alcohol?
No, I just blamed it.
Like that, you wake up and you're like, fuck, I'm still hearing this stupid voiceover in the face of massive success.
Yeah, like nothing outside of me is going to fix this. Like I tried to numb it. I tried to beat it with success.
Yeah.
I tried to lose 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I tried it all.
Yeah.
And it don't work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get sober. I did it old school, 12-step style. And I remember I walked into a meeting for my mom has been in and out of the rooms for 40 plus years. Yeah. So I was the 10-year-old kid on this Game Boy in meetings, like waiting for it to be done so we could all go eat Chinese food. And I remember that when I walked into a meeting and I was finally ready, this guy said, "You didn't tell me what was wrong with me. You told me what was wrong with you." And I identified. And I had walked around my entire life, reasonably articulate, plenty of over-therapized Jewish single, like I knew how to talk about how I felt. And yet I could not tell you how I was feeling. And I'd hear things like, oh, depression, anxiety. I'm like, kinda.
Yeah.
But not that. And when I heard these people talk, I said, that's me. And they weren't a glum lot. They were cracking up at this thing that I was walking
addicts are
in.
funny and energetic.
And it didn't look like, like people were in Skechers.
Yeah.
Wearing like cargo shorts.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh?
It wasn't like serious.
Yeah. It was just like, wow, all these people can feel this.
And wear Skechers.
And rock Skechers.
Yeah.
Like you can feel this and be
when you said the thing
shape-ups.
of the guy saying that you've talked about yourself, you didn't. What was it? What did he say?
You told me what was. You didn't.
Who was
tell
he
me,
talking to? You?
No, he talked about this. I'm sorry. He said that was his experience when he walked into a meeting, and that's how I felt. Which was, you didn't tell me what was wrong with me. You told me what was wrong with you, and I identified because.
Right.
You were telling my story.
Yeah.
Right.
I've never heard a bad share in my entire life.
Oh, I
had
have.
a 12-step.
Plenty.
They're boring.
Sure.
I have a joke about every share in New York meetings is like, so they're mostly about real estate. Or like, so my super. Every single time it's a continuing story about their super or their roommate or what. And it's like, okay, man.
Yeah.
Just anything else?
And then there's the people who just professionally like have like the pitch.
Yeah.
Like they have
the same thing. And
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a microcosm of the world. Like when people ask about like, hey, are these kind of people? I'm like, imagine the world. And then it's just comprised of 30 people.
It's like when you in a disaster movie, it's like the people getting on the plane at the beginning. It's like just the most random group of people. But by the end, you're like, I fuck with kind of all these people.
Yeah. To the thing we were saying before was I remember a guy that I looked up to at the meeting said, if you hear 5% of the meeting, if 5 minutes of a 60-minute meeting, you identify and you get something out of it, you're overpaid. Because the other 55 minutes are for everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to get a minute or two.
Yeah.
And so don't expect to sit there for 60 minutes and be like, this is all me. But I'll hear someone say one line in a 2-minute share and go, yep. And that'll sustain me for a couple days.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab-assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.